Strange historical events you won't believe actually happened. History is filled with incredible stories, but some events are so bizarre they seem like they belong in a movie rather than real life. Today, we're diving into some of the strangest historical events that will leave you questioning the very fabric of reality. Get ready for tales that are as unbelievable as they are true. Event number 1, the Great Emu War. Let's start with a curious chapter from Australian history known as the Great Emu War of 1932. Imagine this. Farmers in Western Australia were facing an invasion, not of foreign soldiers, but of emus. These large, flightless birds were raiding crops and causing havoc in the countryside. In an attempt to combat the problem, the Australian government sent soldiers armed with machine guns to handle the emu crisis. But here's where it gets wild. The emus proved to be surprisingly evasive. The soldiers struggled to make any significant impact, and in the end, the emus won the war, leaving the soldiers utterly bewildered. It's a reminder that sometimes nature has a way of outsmarting us. Event number 2, the Dancing Plague of 1518. Next up is the bizarre phenomenon known as the Dancing Plague of 1518. In Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, a woman named Frau Trophea began dancing uncontrollably in the streets. But this wasn't just a spontaneous dance party, it escalated quickly. Within days, dozens of people joined her, dancing for hours, days, and even weeks without rest. Some even danced until they collapsed or suffered fatal exhaustion. Historians have speculated about mass hysteria, ergot poisoning from contaminated grain, or psychological stress. But the true cause remains a mystery. Imagine a city caught in the grip of a dance that no one could control. Event number 3, the eruption that changed a year. The year without summer, in 1815, Mount Tambora erupted in Indonesia, unleashing a volcanic explosion that was one of the most powerful in recorded history. The eruption was so immense that it altered the climate around the world, leading to what is now called the year without summer. In 1816, temperatures plummeted, leading to crop failures and food shortages across Europe and North America. Snow fell in June, and farmers watched helplessly as their livelihoods were destroyed. This catastrophic event led to widespread famine, social unrest, and even contributed to the creation of the Gothic horror genre, inspiring works like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Nature's fury reshaped society in ways that still resonate today. Event number 4, Napoleon's rabbit attack. Now, let's talk about the time Napoleon Bonaparte faced an unexpected adversary: rabbits. In 1807, after a successful military campaign, Napoleon decided to host a grand rabbit hunt to celebrate. His staff gathered thousands of rabbits for the occasion, but when the hunt began, the rabbits didn't run away. Instead, they charged toward Napoleon and his men. The scene turned chaotic as the rabbits swarmed, leading to a hilarious retreat by the mighty emperor and his soldiers. It's a perfect example of how even the greatest leaders can find themselves in absurd situations. Event number 5, the day the Eiffel Tower almost became a guillotine. During Second World War, the Eiffel Tower, a symbol of French pride, faced an unusual fate. Hitler ordered its destruction as a statement of dominance over France. However, when German soldiers attempted to carry out the order, they forgot to bring the necessary explosives. The tower stood tall, a reminder of resilience and defiance, while the plans to turn it into a guillotine to be used in public executions never materialized. Instead, it became a beacon of hope during dark times. Event number 6, the War of the Stray Dog. In 1925, a bizarre conflict erupted between Greece and Bulgaria, known as the War of the Stray Dog. The war was sparked by an unfortunate dog that crossed the border, leading to a series of misunderstandings. Greek soldiers found the dog on their side of the border, leading them to chase it back into Bulgarian territory. This act was perceived as an invasion, prompting military response from both sides. Eventually, it escalated into a full-blown conflict, resulting in the deaths of several soldiers. The war lasted only a few days, but it stands as a peculiar testament to how something as simple as a dog can lead to international conflict. Event number 7, the Great Molasses Flood. Finally, we arrive at one of the sweetest disasters in history, the Great Molasses Flood of 1919 in Boston. A storage tank burst, releasing over 2 million gallons of molasses into the streets. The sticky waves surged through the city at an estimated 35 miles per hour, sweeping away everything in its path. Buildings were destroyed, and people were trapped in the gooey mess. Incredibly, this disaster led to 21 deaths and over 150 injuries, proving that not all sweet things are safe. It's a bizarre reminder of how industrial accidents can have surprising and tragic consequences. These strange historical events remind us that truth can often be stranger than fiction. What's your favorite bizarre historical tale? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending stories from the past.